Greetings and salutations, Master Blues and Robinson, all the way in Switzerland. Greetings and salutations, Master Blues and Robinson, all the way in Switzerland. And you're tuning into the Black House Fire Radio, and you're listening to the African Diary Show with Cathy. That's it.
Hey man, why you always hating, man? I just point it like it is, bro. I ain't tripping, bro. Come on, bro. You gotta appreciate niggas out here. No, I'm telling you the real, bro. Fuck your man. You be tripping. I know it's trash, but I feel right. Super kitisha tubanana hakuna vile tada yapona akamna bishako na fanana nikule ni uke kalazara biti kitamini madara biti kitamini masaka katumbari tena masala lisa flani ya mabachela droni chafu imeparara kusini mpaka huko marala wanaka beef salama you on the street marada don't do happy funny clowns nani mkali hapa ndani mgani get to busting out all you rappers funny just to be around like the shining crown never dumb me down for the public I keep it 100 I've been a G toka ABCs homie please take the emphasis get to know what the difference is between you and I am devilish I just keep it with my
shout out to Trevor.
I know you really
yes karibuni sana to the African Diary Show. Happy Monday everyone.
All my women got that melanin I just really get a better day.
Yes, my name is Katie, and in case you're joining us for the first time, please make sure you follow the host.
The Black Keys with a membership outside where we fellowship. Allah, it's out of Kuwapi, Kuwera. Tony Tamu Kama Mozzarella. I'm just really getting fed up. This no game is a setup. I just wanna get my better. Shout out Romano, my fella. Nina Matizi, my seller. Toka Westa Mpaka Kiseri. Zangos Mashikas Mguantana. Zangos Mashikas Mguantana. Sibu. Shisha ushada super kitisha na mkamata super kitisha tubanana hakuna venye tada yapana akamna bishtaka na fanana nikule niruke kalazara zangu zimeshika zimegwanta sibutaki shisha ushada super kitisha tubanana akamna bishtaka na fanana nikule niruke kalazara zangu zimeshika zimegwanta
Yes, it's the Messenger featuring Scam Cardinale Guantana. Shout out to Lawrence Moindo. Yes, karibuni sana to the African Diary Show. And of course, this is the Black Heart Fire Network Radio. Trevor is telling me to play now, you know, by Nyashinsky. Aki, this is not a musical show. It's more of a talk show. It's just that we have to start with a jam. Yes, I'm live on YouTube, so that's why I can't play your music, you know. Shout out to Zero Sufuri in the building. Captain C, I see you. Yes, because of copyright, Trevor. But in case you want to listen to more music, you can tune in tomorrow early in the morning on the Vibe Show. I'm always there with the good vibes with the Shman money as well.
Sini mambuzi, nini mangombe yenyewe, ndo nimetoka rimandi juzi, nataka shore nitoe nyege, mtupa mduli na duri, nafanya youth mana kuwerebe, haipi na kute kirudi, na baki na webe, skade uko wapi mpadala, na mdoni tamu kasha warma, kama ni yetu ni marwa, ndo mana ukicheze kwetu tamarwa, marapa sikuji wana mama, nasikia wengine walifungwa kachama, si tukikuja tunaifanya, na tute record kwa kamera, snitch alichocha mokchifa kadaini na siku mbili kwenda ote jola, kungama na kwenda jataka na kwenda kungama na kwenda.
Yes, anyway, welcome back to the African Diary Show. My name is Katie, in case you're joining us for the first time. And of course, this is the Black Heart Fire Network, media of the 21st century. Remember, we are live and interactive on our media handles. We are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, everywhere at Black Heart Fire Network. You can also get to interact with us via our radio station. And in case you don't know how to find our radio station, kindly go to Google Play Store, download the Black Heart Fire Network application, and that will be very easy for you to find us even with our handles. And also to all those who are using iPhone users, you know, they keep on complaining, Akuna Apple app. We got you. Yes, we have a website, so you can reach us via www.blackheartfirenetwork.com. That is where you get to find us. But shout out to Braves, Dennis Braves, I see you in the building. Trevor, I see you in the building. Captain, I see you in the building. And to everybody who is there with us, Asanteni Sana for joining us. In case it is your first time right here, please make sure and consider following the host. Gifting is highly encouraged as well. And karibuni sana. Make sure you're tapping the screen as we continue with our show for today. Happy Monday to everybody who is just joining us, and to all those who are with me on the Vibe Show. I hope you're still doing great. I hope your Monday is running well and it is finding you at great health and as peace at well. It is exactly 32 minutes past 2 p.m. right here in Nairobi, and we are at 24 degrees Celsius. It is mostly cloudy. You can tell me what is the weather on your side, how is everything on your side, and what is the time on your end as we continue. So on today's episode, we shall be discussing about Zimbabwe. And why are we talking about Zimbabwe? Remember last week and on Friday we left the elections at day 2, and this was extended due to the opposition party saying that they had no enough time to vote. And remember, there was a delay with the ballot papers to get to the polling stations. And yes, this is why we saw the elections going to day 2 of elections. So we shall be discussing about Zimbabwe, and we shall get to see Zimbabwe. How has Zimbabwe been under the rule of Mnangagwa? And remember, Mnangagwa was succeeded Mugabe, and Mugabe was thrown out. Is it Mugabe? I hope I'm giving you the right information. But yes, he was thrown out. There was a coup that took over in 2017, and after that we saw Mnangagwa was in the ballot papers together with Chamisa, and right now they were the same people in the polls, and Mnangagwa emerged to be the winner. But how has life been in Zimbabwe since Mnangagwa took over? And remember, you guys, I've seen so many memes, and I don't know why Zimbabwe is on the limelight, by the way. I don't know why Zimbabwe is on the limelight. In case you're in Kenya, you would relate to this. I've seen this meme. I've just seen this meme. In case you're coming from Wayakiwe, and now you tell people you're coming from Wayakiwe, and now you say you're coming from Wayakiwe, and your home is in Limuru, Uthiru, where else? Kino, Gitaru, and I saw like they are filming the pictures and they are saying it's giving Zimbabwe vibes. I don't know why, but yes, karibuni sana to the African Diary Show. Today we're talking about Zimbabwe, and we're talking about the life of Zimbabweans under the rule of Mnangagwa. And yes, of course, we're going to talk about the negatives. Yes, we're not talking about positive, because there has not been any positive thing in Zimbabwe since Mnangagwa took over. But in case there's any positive thing you'd love to tell me, and in case there's any Zimbabwean in the building and they feel like there's something positive to report about, please make sure you let me know. But remember, I talked about Zimbabwe last week, and also we're going to talk about this. And today, the main focus of the day is all about Zimbabwe. I mean, today we're talking about Zimbabwe. How has a Zimbabwean's life been under the rule of Mnangagwa? How has the country, the economy of the country been under the rule of Mnangagwa? How has now everything been in the country under the rule of Mnangagwa? This is what we're going to discuss today, and please make sure you tell me, what do you feel about Zimbabwe? What are those Zimbabwe vibes you know? And I don't know why Zimbabwe is being associated to poverty, while it is a rich country in like being led by poor leaders, puppets. Yeah, puppets. This is the best thing. It's just like Kenya. Yes, Kenya is a very rich country, but we are being led by puppets. But at the end of the day, we're going to discuss about Zimbabwe. Please make sure you keep it interactive with me. Please make sure you tell me how you feel about Zimbabwe and why does Zimbabwe give you those poor vibes? Because I'm always seeing memes. I remembered something very funny. There was this time we were talking about something and we were talking about poverty, and there was a time Zimbabweans were selling their toes. Yes, I'm talking about Zimbabwe. So the Zimbabweans were selling their toes. They were selling their toes to make a living out of their toes. I see somebody, JT, please live here. Just Chuck, live here. Stop trolling me because you're not ready for me. Yeah. You know, sometimes I wonder what is wrong with the people. Now this man is coming right here. He's telling me to stop. I deal with my issues and stop talking about Kenya. What do you mean? Are you mad? Please leave before I start with you, because I don't know what you're doing here with your idle mind, and now telling me I'm shouting and deal with my. Look at this man. Anyway, I don't even understand what is wrong with some people right here. But anyway, you're just an idle person. You think I'm shouting? Yes, you're listening to me shouting right here. And imagine I'm earning out of this shouting. So please check in case you feel like I'm shouting, I'm too loud for you. Just leave. But anyway, as we continue, I said I'm talking about Zimbabwe. But before we get started, I started off with an amazing jam done by HR the Messenger featuring Scam Cardinali, Zime Guantana. I hope you did get to jam onto it, but we shall get back to one more jam as we continue with our show for today, as we continue, and also as you let me know how you feel about it. I'll be back with our quote of the day, and in case you have a quote of the day, please make sure you feel comfortable to share with us right here, and also feel generous enough to encourage a brother, a sister, and also somebody who is very needy of that quote of the day. This is Saisa. The jam is a Saisa. Get to jam onto it, and remember to keep it interactive with me right here. Derek Singer is asking, Nani amekukosea? Is this guy called JT? I don't know what is wrong with him. He's just coming right here with his anger issues. I don't know who, Sijui Nani amemkosea. I don't know who hurt him. Kenya is not Zimbabwe. Oh my God. Please leave. If you're not ready to learn, if you're not ready to listen to me, you can just leave. You know, I'm not ready to deal with your stupid mind. Sai kama msuka tunapagawisha. My quote of the day is be good to people, be kind to people. Just have that humanity in you. Sai kama waga tunafuatanisha. Sai kama msuka tunapagawisha. Sai kama ni mboi sibai, kama na seti ni ngwai, kwanza baadaye sidai, kama
Sai naitaka sai makali napiga kachai sina deni ndo ninajidai sikwa tumariza lai laga nafika tisai sasa nashika design machisto ndo mina dai sasa lenza ragalini sai sasa tajama kalini sai.
Shout out to Derek. He has a motivational quote for every one of us right here. He's saying tough times doesn't, or rather don't last forever, but tough people do last forever. Be good, do you. That is his quote of the day. I hope you feel encouraged. I hope you feel motivated by that quote. And I hope you are doing great on this wonderful Monday afternoon.
Kama kufanya nafanya kamili sijali ni nini unasema nani kama ni kuja miujiza kajini na wakanyaga kanyasi nani shari manyani bang doba ni kali na bang na wanyeri na swag bado na stack the bag kama glass tunagonganisha sai kama wada tunafuatanisha sai kama msuka tunapagawisha sai
all the way and you're tuning into the Black Half Fire Radio, and you're listening to the African Diary Show with Cathy. Massive. Thank you.
Yes, welcome back to the African Diary Show. I hope you're doing great, and I hope you are well today. I see Mzales in the building. Shout out to you, Mzales. I miss you, Manze. Where have you been? Karibu sana, and also JT, I don't have your time. Please make sure you keep on commenting. I'll not even check out your comments. But anyway, on today's episode, we shall be discussing about Zimbabwe. And the reason I'm talking about Zimbabwe, remember, they went to the polls last week on Thursday. They extended it to day 2 on Friday, and this was due to delay of arrival of the ballot papers to the polling stations. And after that, we saw Chamisa calling people. Oh, Chamisa, in case you don't know, Chamisa is the opposition in Zimbabwe, or it's like the Raila of Zimbabwe. So Chamisa called out people to not go to the day 2 voting. And remember, Chamisa was the one who made the day 2, or rather the voting time, to be extended. Now, day 2, he called out people. We even saw posters on the polls in the country with the posters, "Don't go to vote, the election is rigged." And for sure, when you come to think about this, the election was stolen. But at the end of the day, or rather, the election was not ruled fairly. But at the end of the day, remember, this is Africa. Remember, in Africa is where we don't exercise any democratic rights. So at the end of the day, this is something that we expected, and this is something that we knew it's gonna happen. But remember, most of the time we thought that it was, or rather, when we saw that Zimbabwe was heading to the polls, I thought it is time for the British to put their new puppet. But now it is not. Unfortunately, it is not. They are still not over Mnangagwa. They are still not over Mnangagwa. And right now, what is happening is that Mnangagwa has been declared, or rather, Mnangagwa has been re-elected as the president of Zimbabwe. But my question is, what has Mnangagwa done for the Zimbabwean people as the president of the country? Okay? What has Mnangagwa done for the people of Zimbabwe when, or rather, as the president of the country? One, wasn't Mnangagwa the one who was covered in the Gold Mafia episode, series, drama? Of course he was. Remember, there were these politicians. Yes, of course, this is what I'm talking about, John Doe. Yes, he was in the gold scandal. Mnangagwa was one of the biggest people with Ubat. Ubat, you remember Ubat? I forgot his other name. Ubat, who is his nephew? Yes, he was his nephew. and they were involved in the gold smuggling. And also there was this woman, what was her name? Still from Mnangagwa's family, and also still from his government. She was also in the gold smuggling scandal. And she came out after now being exposed. She came out and said that, yes, we are doing this. You know, Zimbabwe is sanctioned, and we are helping Zimbabwe as a country to sell its gold. But now I was asking myself, okay, you've told us you're doing this. What shall we do as people? And she actually asked us, what can you do? Of course, we are selling the the gold. What will you do? We are helping you. Can't you see that we are helping you? But yes, this is politics. It is not politics. It is politics. My biggest question is, what has Mnangagwa done for the people of Zimbabwe since he became the president? Okay, we can say one of the things he has done is sell out his country. Actually, the major things he has done in the country is sell out his people. One, remember Zimbabwe. They have been built a parliament by the Chinese. You want receipts? I have them. Wait for this. Let me just go through the comments real quick as we continue with our show for today. I see Trevor is saying, I've seen that meme. Oh, very well. You've seen that meme. And also I see John Doe in the building. Shout out to John Doe. I see Derek, I see Derek, okay, with your quote of the day. And also, I see Mzales is saying, Nimekukawia, thank you very much. And also, Derek is saying, Africa is not yet fit to democracy. Actually, we don't practice democracy in Africa. That is what I'd love to tell you, Derek. And I see John Doe is saying, Keti, nakupenda bure, nakupenda pia. Thank you for the love, Manze. Thank you. I see Derek is saying, how come, sir, Kenya was not called overseas? To do what? Kenya was not called overseas to do what? I don't understand. But anyway, John Doe is saying, how did that guy get re-elected with the gold scandal? This is how you get to know that he is a puppet. We don't elect our leaders. They select the leaders they want for us. This is how you get to know, because it's so evident that this person was not elected by the people. Because how would you be having such scandals and still be re-elected as the president of the country? And this is why I keep on telling my people, in Africa is why we don't elect our leaders. They select for us. And this is what is happening in Zimbabwe. Okay? This is what has been happening in Africa, and this is what has happened in Zimbabwe. I thought they were tired with Mnangagwa, but seems like they are not tired. They have not found a new puppet to replace Mnangagwa with. But as we continue, I see Solo KE. You're saying Uyuni Wawapi who is that? Okay, this is the Black Hotfire Network, but I don't understand what you're asking. But also, I see Derek is saying politics is a dirty game. Yes, it is a very dirty game. And also, I see VK official. Shout out to you. You're saying Sasa Poa Sana. I see VK, you're saying Umejam, politics iko hivyo. It's all about trading the citizens, seizing your trade item. And you feel happy about that? This is not something you should be celebrating, VK. You should know that now you are the ones who have employed these people we call presidents. So there's nothing funny right here. Actually, we should be sad as the citizens, and also we should be sad as Africans, because how does a person who was involved in a gold smuggling scandal, not only himself, we also saw him with his part of the government, his cabinet secretaries. Okay? And also remember, these people are also his family members. Obat was his nephew. And they are involved in the gold smuggling. Not alone, leave alone that. Haven't you seen that now? Mnangagwa allowed the Chinese to come and build them a parliament. You know what that means? You know what that means? Do you know what that means as African people? The Chinese come and build you shit. Parliament, especially parliament. So you, the Senate, you, the MPs or the parliamentarians, are sitting in a parliament that was built up by the Chinese for you. Okay? One, Mnangagwa is a sellout. So tell me how he gets re-elected as the president of Zimbabwe. Just tell me. I need to understand. Okay, and I told you guys, this is how we know these people. We don't elect them because I know nobody would re-elect a person who is involved in scandals like those. Of course, nobody would go to the ballot boxes except his family members. I don't know, or except his maybe daughters, his children would do that. But tell me, how would you go and re-elect a person who has been involved in smuggling the resources of the country? Not alone that. Haven't you seen that Zimbabwe has been facing power cuts 18 hours a day? Don't you remember there was this article I brought to you? Where we had Zimbabweans telling us that we are used to this. We are used to this. They are used to power cuts every day of their life. Can you imagine? Every day of their life, 18 hours a day. And they say we are used to this. A president who makes you get used to power cuts 18 hours a day. Okay? And then you tell me he gets re-elected. But anyway, my question is, how has Zimbabwe been under the rule of Mnangagwa? We are yet to find out. And remember, Mnangagwa got into the leadership or got into the power after there was a coup. Okay? He succeeded Mugabe. And there was a coup. They went to the election. And after that, we saw Chamisa also. And Mnangagwa won over Chamisa. And that is how Mnangagwa became the president of Zimbabwe. And right now, he has been re-elected as the president of Zimbabwe. But now tell me, what is going to change after his re-election? Nothing. He's going to sell out his country. And right now, I'm even afraid that he's going to sell out Zimbabwe to maybe, of course, not maybe, to the BRICS. He's going to get the Zimbabweans to join the BRICS. Why am I saying this? They have a parliament that is built by the Chinese. So whatever the Chinese tells them to do, of course, they're going to do that. They're going to do that. This is what is going to happen. But anyway, Mr. Mugabe was removed in a coup in 2017 by Mr. Mnangagwa and his allies. The following year, Mr. Mnangagwa eked out a victory over Mr. Chamisa in an election, winning over 50% of the vote. That is how he became the president of Zimbabwe. The British government was the colonizer of by then, and of course I want to agree, or I tend to believe that and if this is not true, kindly correct me, because I'm just trying to believe this, because Mnangagwa, we have seen he's not the fit leader for Zimbabwe, so he was pushed to maybe drive the coup in Zimbabwe and overthrow Mugabe. But he didn't overthrow Mugabe because he was the best leader for Zimbabwe. Of course, Mugabe was not the best leader as well, but also Mnangagwa is not the best leader for Zimbabwe. But now, Mnangagwa, I feel like he was being funded by the British to overthrow Mugabe's government. Because, why am I saying this? Remember, Zimbabwe is a British colony. Yes. So I would tend to believe up to date, the British still have their roots in the country. But also remember, as the British still have their roots in Zimbabwe. Right now, we have new people trying to gain influence in the country. We have the Chinese, okay? We have other different people, okay? Of course, the people who send the Chinese, because Chinese is not a real country. These are not real people, okay? The people who created the Chinese, these people pushed, or rather are trying to gain influence in the country. And this is the reason we're seeing Zimbabwe getting a new parliament, courtesy of the Chinese. Why do you think that the Chinese would want to build you a parliament out of nowhere? They just come and tell you, you know what, I have an offer for you. Imagine I want to build you a new parliament, yeah, out of nowhere. So I want to believe that Mnangagwa, when he was trying, or rather when he was overthrowing Mugabe's government, he was being funded by the British, okay? And after that, now he has been a puppet. He has been their puppet for the longest time, because no development has been seen in this country. Hello, Brian, karibu sana, and yes, karibu sana for thank you for joining us. And I was saying, yes, there's no development we have seen in this country. There are power cuts. Now they are Chinese. Now the country is experiencing drought and starvation, economic wars, and the person who we are calling the president has been re-elected. Tell me, just explain to me how that makes sense to you. You know, the reason I chose this topic is just to prove for people we don't elect our leaders, because I've been debating this long every time with the people. I want you to understand this. After now, Mnangagwa became the president of Zimbabwe, we started experiencing a lot of shit. I accept that Mugabe also didn't do anything for Zimbabweans. But remember, after that, we started having economic wars, okay? Inflation in the country. The economy of the country went very low, okay? After that, we are seeing the Chinese coming, investing in Zimbabwe. I don't mean investing, coming up and building a parliament for Zimbabweans. Why do you think that the Chinese would come and build your shit for no reason, for free? Tell me, okay? The Chinese are in Zimbabwe right now. After that, we are seeing power cuts, 18 hours a day. After this, Mnangagwa is involved in a gold smuggling scandal with the Arabs and Indians. So guys, tell me, how is this person fit to be the president of Zimbabwe? I just want you to tell me. I just want you to tell me how Mnangagwa is fit to be the president of Zimbabwe. And now the point is, I'm just trying to prove to you, these people, we don't elect our presidents. We don't elect our president. They select for us. They select the presidents for us. You want another example? There was a time I came here on the African Diary show still. I told you, the CIA in Kenya has announced that Ruto will be the president of Kenya. Okay? The president will be the president. Ruto will be the president of Kenya. At that time, we were 2 weeks to the elections. Okay? How did they know that Ruto is going to become the president? And this is the CIA. So what does this tell you? They already know the president. They already know who their puppet is. They are just waiting for inauguration and for you to agree, this is our president. What shall we do? Okay? So we saw this and we accepted it as Kenyans, thinking that we went there, we voted for Ruto, and everybody is happy that Ruto is our president. But at the end of the day, this is their puppet. They knew he's gonna be their puppet, and Not even 2 weeks earlier, not even 2 weeks prior. They knew this long time ago. This is what I'm trying to tell you guys. We don't elect our leaders. We don't elect our presidents. And we need to understand this as African people, because this has been used to keep us in poverty. You think that Ruto is the president of the people? Of course not. Do you ask yourself, I'm not rooting for Raila, because also the opposition is also chosen. And you know, what is the work of the opposition in a government is to make sure that now it is going, the opposition is making sure that the government is doing its work, because the opposition comes always to oppose everything. So the opposition is still also chosen to make sure that everything is happening the way the bosses want. So at the end of the day, as African people, what do we need to do? We need to wake up as African people. And for this case, Zimbabwe, they are claiming that Mnangagwa has been re-elected as the president of the people, or as the president of Zimbabwe. So tell me, what changes we're gonna witness? He has been the president for the longest time. Since 2017, he has been the president of the country. What have we seen? Only people crying, people starving to death. Chinese taking over their country. Right now, people are just waking up to power cuts all the time. So tell me, how will he help the country, since he has become now, he has been re-elected? This is what they say, but we know he has been put back to power. How is this going to help the Zimbabweans? But let me go through the comments real quick as we continue with our show for today. I see a lot of people in YouTube. I don't know why you're not talking, but anyway, I see Brian in the building. Shout out to you, Brian. I see Stephanie Bobo. Shout out to you, Stephanie. You're saying, not for free, the government pays with the taxes. What do you mean? The government pays who? The government pays who, baby girl? Bobo, tell me, who does the government pays? Anyway, I still don't get you. And Stephanie, you're saying, here in Kenya, we've been having power outbreak like never seen before. God help us. I hope he's hearing you wherever he is. But at the end of the day, this is not a problem to say God help us. It is a high time as African people we get to wake up. If I show you videos of how Zimbabweans are struggling, of how Zimbabweans are in wars and pain and economic crisis, you would feel the pain. And now imagine this would be happening to you. I know Ruto is still a puppet, but we've not gotten to a point that we are experiencing power cuts 18 hours a day. 12 hours a day. 12 hours a day. This is in South Africa. 18 hours a day is in Zimbabwe. I don't know what he uses to explain this, but he is still the president in that country. I want to share a video with you that is talking about Mnangagwa's administration. And this video's headline says that Mnangagwa's administration has manufactured poverty in Zimbabwe. Now, to a point that the Zimbabweans are saying that Mnangagwa's government has put people in poverty, what are you waiting for you to see? I think it's high time, just like Mnangagwa overthrew Mugabe's government, I think it is high time for the people of Zimbabwe to wake up and realize all this, and now wake up and say, enough is enough. We need to overthrow this government as well, because we can't be with a leader who is only looking up to himself. I keep on telling people, if you're a thief, at least be a thief and also help your people. You can steal, but make sure you're helping your people. But these coons, what do? They keep you in poverty. your roads are very poor. Munapita huku, there are slums, sewer lines everywhere directed to the roads. And these people are rotting in money while we are stinking in poverty. They are stinking rich. We are rotting in poverty. What is that? You know, at least when you're trying to become a thief, at least be a good thief. Okay, a thief who is thinking about his people. Of course, you're not trying to steal so that you can go and help the foreigners. Of course, you're trying to steal for yourself. So in case you're stealing, steal and think about your people. Now imagine we have these puppets. They steal from us. Okay? They're stealing from us, but at the same time, they don't even think about us. Imagine they steal. There you go. Wanna buy island Zuko. Remember the issue of the Uhuru Kenyatta with the Pandora Papers? Nobody talks about that. Akona island sijui wapi. You know? But where were Kenyans left after 10 years of presidency, of his governorship? Still in poverty. Watu wa Kibra wako Kibra, in the same slum, still the dirty slum. We are left in poverty. Remember, the sewer lines. Ukienda places zingine, you don't even feel like eating anything over there because the sewer lines are on the roads. They are pointing on the roads. Imagine the sewerage is coming at the roads. Imagine bathroom water walking on the road, flooding on the road. Let's talk about pipeline. Ding dong, I see you saying true 100%. Let's talk about even pipeline. Have you seen pipeline? Unatokanga unaona niko like, oh shit. I've never been into pipeline, but I've seen it in pictures. I'm like, I don't want to go to this place. I can't even stay there. I know it's stinking, you know, but I don't blame people living there. Of course, those people don't want to live there. But now, it is a situation that is forcing them to live there. So at the end of the day, I feel like, you know, in Zimbabwe, it is high time. Okay, Mnangagwa has been re-elected. He has done nothing for the people of Zimbabwe. We cannot count a single thing he has done. He has been involved in a lot of nonsense, scandals. So, he overthrew Mugabe's government. Why don't you overthrow him? Why don't you overthrow his ass? Why? You know, he feels so entitled because he overthrew Mugabe's government, claiming that the government is not fit to lead Zimbabwe. So his government is fit to lead Zimbabwe? Of course not. Why are you Zimbabweans still asleep and not overthrowing his ass? You need to do that real quick because there's no way we're gonna witness Africans living in this poverty all the time. Imagine you're waking up, unajua, at this time of the day, stima lazima ipote every day of your life. Imagine every day of your life. Let's talk about what are problems in that country. Ni munasemanga Kenya. You talk about Kenya with the water problems. Have you seen Zimbabwe? Have you seen Zimbabwe? Have you seen Zimbabweans selling their toes just to make a living out of these toes? I mean toes. They sell their toes. I remember there was this trend. Was it last year or early this year? People were coming, selling their toes, and I saw Kenyans making fun of this and saying that I'm going to Zimbabwe because my toes are useless and I can make money out of them. So I need to go there and sell my toes. And do you think that these people were selling their toes to the black people? Of course not. They were selling the toes to the Mzungus. What did the Mzungus use their toes for? We don't know. But imagine what these people are going through to a point that you can sell your body parts. Imagine you're selling your body organs. But anyway, people, I promised to share this video with you. And in case you have not even seen the Chinese-built parliament in Zimbabwe, I'll show you. And in case you're on TikTok and you'd love to see my screen, the one that I'm sharing, you can just come to YouTube. I'm live on Black Fire Network Live. You can just come and make sure you tell me what you think about this. Let me see. Okay, let me share this screen right now. Okay, Mnangagwa's administration. Okay. So here is my video. Let's find my screen. I hope you can see it. Okay. Karibu sana Koreo.
Discussion that we're going to be having, where we are dealing with the country's economy and the country's economic performance. How is our economy performing? We want to, at the end of this program, have an understanding of how the economy is performing. And like I said, we have in the studio, Professor. Welcome to Slide.
So this is a professor, just like we have Professor Pialo Lumumba in Kenya. This is a professor in Zimbabwe, and what his words, his exact words says is Mnangagwa's administration has manufactured poverty in Zimbabwe. This is what his word says. Alfie Mpole Tofi Senyaje mimi ni msanii. Okay, good for you, Alfie. And unadai okay, how may I help you, Alfie? But in case you want some help, please make sure you DM us, please. This is more of a talk show. It's not a musical show. I'm sorry if you think I sound rude, but what I'm saying is just go to Instagram and DM us at Black Fire Network. We shall reply to you. And please make sure you send your music first before talking to us much. Karibu sana, kid.
Asante sana there, Katie. Oh, damn. I woke up. I forgot to get you transport money and everything and food. I guess we'll go Wednesday or something. But I go get food. Yeah, I woke up. Heard you talk about Mnangagwa. Mnangagwa's
you always, you know that is the name of a certain vegetable right here.
Called Mnangagwa?
Mnangagwa, not Mnangagwa.
Okay. Okay, Kate, I guess you're since you're going to be the pronunciation police today, whatever you have to call his name. You know I can't do them damn names. That's why I call Kopi a Dada Doodoo. I'm saying, Mama, whatever the hell, Mr. M.
Emmerson.
Yeah, Emmerson. Yeah, he's got to stay in power, Katie, because the opposition is so bad. They're talking about giving the country back over to white people and paying white people back for the land that they stole. Black people get them, because Robert Mugabe at least finally did, even though he became a dictator in his end. I don't know what's with these African despots. They want to stay in power. He was another moron in power for 40 years. So they let him stay in power. The first 20 years, Robert Mugabe down there. And they put no sanctions on Zimbabwe. They fought a war, they won. And they said, well, they're going to redistribute the land back to African people. See, the scam white people do, Katie. Oh, you niggas are stupid. You can't farm without us. You've been here millions of years. White people didn't even exist. Hell, you mean on our farm? It's the most idiotic, asinine shit these white people say. But this is what they say. Oh, you black people are stupid. You don't know how to farm without white people. We are the what did they always say? We are the ones that have the knowledge, right? They're the ones with the knowledge, right? And all you see whenever these white people talk about their knowledge, it's always the black people. No matter where you go in the world, work in the damn fields, Katie. If I'm working the fields, I got the knowledge. All you do is stand around and want to bark orders. You want to be in control and have the wealth that's created by black people without giving black people shit. That's white people, right? Exploitation for them is the name of the game. So now, if anybody, Katie can look this up, Zimbabwe just had one of their biggest crops ever, being under sanctions, and white people not controlling the farms and black people taking back their farmland. So this makes the white people mad. Oh, you damn niggas. How dare you take back your stuff and then make it work? You're supposed to be worse than us. No. So, the only reason I'm saying Mr. Emmerson's got to be there because the sanctions they did, the dollar. See, everything is traded in dollars. So when white people war with black people, that's how racist these motherfuckers and black people. That's why you got to start knowing who you're dealing with. White people always been your enemy. So you getting back your own land made white people around the world mad. See, they don't play those just white people in Zimbabwe like you might do. Those is black people in Nigeria. Those is black people in Brazil. You're the same black person. I don't care where you at. So they treat you the same. So at that they treat you the same. So when Mugabe rated, Mugabe rated for 20 years. They loved him, Katie. He was a 20-year pup. He's been there for 20 years. He said, listen here. And those kids who had fought had become old. They were like 4. They said, hey, man, where's our goddamn land? We fought these white people 20 years. You've been talking about getting our land back. We're still in poverty. Ain't got no land. Reason we went to war is to get our shit back. So Mugabe, at that time they loved him. That's why family, their media is so dangerous, so on, and so propagandist. Because they loved Mugabe when he wasn't giving land back. So in 1998, Katie said, listen, we got to go. We got to give black people back their land that was stolen 100 years ago. So when he got it back, oh, Mugabe's a dictator. He's no good. He's killing babies. He's killing babies, Katie. He's threatening to wipe out white people.
Now, kid, can you compare Mugabe with Mnangagwa?
Well, Mnangagwa, I think that was a Chinese coup. People talking about the Chinese don't intervene. That's a lie. Shout out to Job. I see in a Joby show.
Don't you think it was a British coup? I don't think it was a Chinese coup because the Chinese are saying later, after now, Mnangagwa has ruled for almost even 5 years.
5 years. I don't think the Chinese. I think it was a Chinese coup because Mugabe refused to give the country over to the Chinese. So you're not gonna come and take over this country. You're not gonna come over. Yeah, that's what it's because and then when I did the research of it 6 years ago, it was a Chinese backed coup. Because Mugabe refused. I mean, I'm sure the British, they're all the same. I'm sure the British were happy. The British probably helped. I'm not saying they didn't, but it was. Really,
I think it was a British backed coup because at the end of the day, remember, now we had the Chinese are just coming right now. We have not seen the Chinese since back then. We are seeing them just right now. So I think it was backed by the British, and then later, this is when Mnangagwa now learned to work with the Chinese, and this is why we're seeing even the Chinese coming and built them
parliament. Yeah, but see, I don't think because I like all evidence show me it was the Chinese involved in because Mugabe refused to play ball with the Chinese. See, we're not like changing. We're not changing one imperial power for another one. Because see, China, a lot of Africans selling up are pretty stupid. China's not coming in and knocking you over your head, but they're still getting these fake fucked up loans and building your crap so they can steal your resources. That's the whole game. So it's just it's just reverse of the IMF, right? I'm gonna pretend to be your buddy, you African people, and you should see the way people treat you to know whether they give a fuck. You see how Chinese people treat African people. They can't stand our ass. So the idea you should learn from that just to begin with. So
yes, you know, after Mnangagwa became the president of Zimbabwe, he made sure that he denied people the right of becoming activists in that country. There was no freedom of expression. You cannot talk about the president and his leadership.
Well, I think,
and I
of course I know.
I think he did this because he was afraid people might overthrow his ass just like he did.
Exactly. But of course, Katie, because you know I know about it. I had a young lady right here who worked for me from Zimbabwe. The government has Ruby's eyes. She used to work for me from Zimbabwe. So I had a bunch of Zimbabwe, and they did come knock on our door, Katie. Hey, you better stop talking that shit. so that was Ruby's eye from Zimbabwe. So I know what you're saying, Katie, but it's not as black and white as it. So Katie, how do I hold on to a country? I know the CIA's in there. I know they're going to want to start. What they do, they start kind of protest against me. So let's say, Katie, you got a bunch of people that's going to be kind of upset. And I start paying for kind of protest, paying all this money. I know my people broke. So the CIA comes in, gives these opposition all this money. So now they march to the street against me. Hey, Mnangagwa, you no good bastard. It's time for you to get the fuck out. Time for you to leave the country. This is what the CIA does. You got to go research counter revolutions. It's called color revolution, right? CIA comes in. They put a bunch of money in an opposition group. Now people in the street march to get you, about to overthrow you. It's not a real coup coming. It's CIA back. They overthrow you now. White people got control of the country with their puppet. Yeah, hey, you Mnangagwa, you Mr. M, you ain't no damn good. We don't got the right to talk. So, sadly enough, Katie, Africa's been put in a situation, especially like Zimbabwe, that some freedoms, even if I was a leader, I was going to take away some freedom because you're not educated enough to know what the fuck is going on. You'll overthrow my ass and get a country right back to white people. You think you're fighting against me because I'm a terror, I'm a tyrant. Hey, I can't come tell you, hey, these white people are lying to you. The whole thing is to get Zimbabwe back for white people. That's why that.
I feel like what is lacking in Zimbabwe, they don't have a strong opposition, because at the end of the day, if they had a strong opposition and an opposition that means it has a right meaning to the people of Zimbabwe,
who's going to fund it? Who's going to fund it?
Of course, they will have people who are willing to fund them, because at the end of the day, remember right now we have everybody looking for influence in Africa. So if you go and maybe tell them, I want to overthrow this government for these reasons and these reasons. Let's talk about the Russia. They will fund you. Right now, the Russia is funding everybody.
Well, now you're the puppet of the Russia. You're the pocket of the Russians then. I got to do their bidding. That ain't freedom. Now I got to do what the Russians tell me. I got to deal with that.
You're going to have to give them your resources at the end of the day. You're going to have to give them the gold you have in your country.
That ain't a good look. So why would I go to them?
That's perfect.
So why would I go to them, Katie? Why would I go to them then? Shit. I can't.
No, Keith, now tell me, why is Niger going for Russia? It's the same thing.
Well, Niger had no choice at the time, because what you do is, okay, now we're talking about real, that's why I said family. You got to start learning chess again. It's African. You created chess, African people, but you don't even play it. It's a very, very strategic game. You got to learn strategy again. It's your game. You created it, African people. Chess. Learn chess. Okay, but this is a chess move. Okay, I'm not your Katie. I've been kept impoverished, right? So I don't have the military might to really throw over France, who's been exploiting me for over 100-something years. I don't got the military might to overthrow their ass, but I need to. My people are impoverished. My people are uneducated, but they're starting to realize that France is an enemy. So I think so. Now we got to be strategic. I'm saying, damn, who's the enemy of France? Russia right now. Only for right now. Because understand, even though white people might be a little enemy in the beginning,
they are never enemies.
White people are white people. Exactly. They're gonna eventually make up and come after you. But that's okay. As long as you know how to play chess. That's okay. For the time being, I can use these Russians
take advantage of the quarrel they have.
Exactly. I can use these.
By the time we are getting back together, you will have achieved what you wanted, and you have chased out your enemy. This is what I mean.
That's it. That's what I'm saying. So you got strategically. Okay, so I gotta use these Russians because they're strong enough. I know they're not my friends, but we can do business because I can give them this, they can give me that. Okay, I'm gonna be. I need some tech. I need some military technology. I need some nuclear technology to power my country. So this is what I need. Are you willing to do? Yeah, we're willing to do it. Cool. Okay, I need the French out. So that's why the French, when the junta told them the French ambassador to get out, said, get out. See, I want you to understand, black people. Now you're actually seeing white people don't think you control that Africa should be controlled by you. See, this is what now we're getting real. British don't believe that Kenya should be controlled by Kenyans or Ghana or nothing. I'm telling you how they think. France is telling you, what? You don't got the right to kick me out of your country? Like, what? That's what France told them this year. You don't got the, how dare you? Nigeria and all your resources belong to us. How dare you think you can kick us out of your country? Like, what? It's my country. So you're seeing the truth in your face. And so the junta said, you'll leave peacefully, we'll throw your punk ass up out of here. And that's what you should do. Go get his ass, throws on a plane, and kick him up out of it. See, now you see the Europeans are scared, but now you guys see you got the power. Europe doesn't exist without Africa. Europe has always been impoverished. All these fake lies, they tell you about their fake history. Europe has always been poor and fucked up, backward, until the Africans went in and educated them. So now you see, now that they've got power, now the Africans are waking up again. Well, hey, this stuff belongs to us. Europe is scrambling. Now, we need Africa. Africa's wealthy, and we've been exploiting it. We're trying to be friends. No, you need to get all your military bases out. Why are the military bases in Africa? Why are your military bases here? You're not fighting no terrorism. So why are you here? So they can control the money that they're stealing out of Africa. So, so Africans is finally starting to wake up. Man, you mean we're not poor? No, you're not poor. They've kept you in poverty, made themselves rich off your back. No, you're not poor. So Europe is now scrambling and scared as hell. How dare these niggas tell us that Niger's not ours?
But at the end of the day, we need to, as African people, we need to realize what is happening, because now these are puppets put up for us. These people are not the leaders of our choice. So
they're not leaders at all.
Yes, they are not leaders of our choice. So in case we need to collaborate with the Europeans, let's do it for our personal gain. They might be gaining, but let's make our gain 60%, 70% of it. We need to be opportunistic. So right now, Russia is funding everybody. They can give us weapons, and we can have weapons and be able to fight our enemies. And at the end of the day, Russia will want a small share of the gold we have, maybe the minerals we have. That won't hurt. Remember, we are full of resources. We have a lot of resources.
You're full of it. You're Africa. All these years, white people have been instilling for the last 20 years. I think they've only taken, like they said, only 10%. And understand, family, this is a dirty little secret I try to teach people. Africa's always going to be wealthy. How, Keith? Because you're the only continent. See, all the minerals come up from the earth, right? Into the ground of the land, the soil, okay? And the reason why Africa's so wealthy, Africa's the only continent that's sown into the soil of the earth. All other continents drift. Africa's the only, if you look at Africa, you see how every continent fits back into Africa like a puzzle piece. All these other continents split off of Africa millions of years ago and start drifting. They drift. They have continental drift like 1%, 2%, like North America drifts 1% a year, South America 1.2 or whatever. Europe and Asia 1.2, whatever. Africa is the only continent that doesn't drift because it means it's the mama continent of the planet. So all resources that the earth creates comes up through Africa. So Africa's always going to be wealthy. Always.
Yes. There is no day we're gonna wake up and say that our gold is exhausted. So we need to take advantage of that. We have that gold. We can give 40% to the Russians, and then they give us 70% of the weapons, and then we are able to conquer our enemies. But at the end of the day, Mnangagwa is not good to Zimbabweans, and also he's not good leader for Zimbabwe. That is the conclusion.
But we don't got anybody else. Who am I supposed to use, Katie? You're under sanctions. The Europeans got them under sanctions. So
I believe we have a lot of good people and good leaders for Zimbabwe. It's just that activism.
But they're not able to come up. They don't got no money. I can't go for president. How am I get on TV? I'm gonna let people know who I am. I don't got no money.
I know it's very hard for them, but at the end of the day, kid, we need to find a solution to these problems. But quick question before we leave, away from that conversation. Okay, if probably Prigozhin is dead, whom do you think might be the person?
The replacement? Who's going to replace him?
Not even replace him. A person who will, who is responsible for his death?
For his death, that's a good question. I don't know. See, Russians don't fuck around. Go back to teach you guys to learn. Don't think at the end of the day, the Europeans, right? Yeah, but Africa, they never tried to colonize people. What? You better go back and study Russian history. So whenever somebody double crossed the Russians, who's ever in power, their life ended violently. So I don't know if they got actually tried to go against Putin underneath secretly, because we know the plane had a bomb. It blew up, so we knew he was murdered. We know that.
He was murdered, of course.
Yeah. So we do know that, and that's Russian politics. You cross anybody in Russia, you dying. So everybody you out of here. And there's no way you gonna go on this planet and hide. Usually they poison your ass with they usually poison you with that palladium. There's no damn cures for it. You might be drinking, think you're alone in your you might be alone in your cafe, don't think that nobody's around. A Russian spy, you go to the bathroom and got your tea there, then they put palladium in your shit. You're like, That happened to a guy like 5-6 years ago. That dude named Russia. He thought he was safe, but But let me finish. But African people understand. You use them to build your weight up to start becoming a real country. I'm glad that you guys are now uniting. I hear everybody now saying, shout out to TikTok. I'm not Kenyan. I'm not Nigerian. I'm not Ghanaian. I'm African. That's what I'm finally starting to hear. Because your countries were created by white people. You're not a Kenyan. You're not a Ghanaian. You're not a Nigerian. Those borders are created by white people. So I hear the youth finally saying, I'm African first. Not my tribe, not my fake nation. I'm African. So now, see, your unity, African people, scares everybody. With unity, you go back to the top. Now you can fight for your resources. You can demand your respect. And they got no choice because you sit on the richest place on the planet. Now people got to play ball with you, or so what? Then don't. Then starve. Starve then. You ever starve? You see France is still in the dark, and it's about to be winter up there. It's cold. You know, you go here. You know, good niggas, it's cold.
Geez, our time is out.
Okay.
But I think last week I was thinking the enemies of Russia might be involved. Also, Africa might be somehow involved. But right now, I think it is Russia. Russia has killed Prigozhin.
Yeah, I think because they only ones that had control of the plane when it left this year, going back into Russia. It blew up outside the capital of
It actually blew up in Moscow.
Yeah, the capital. I said the capital, but outside the capital of Russia. So, of course, it's going to be Russia. So it's could it be some of the it could be some Putin's enemy. Understand? You got people in Russia that want to topple Putin. They say he's too soft. he's not being hard enough, and they wanted to just wipe. Because understand this, Russia could have wiped Ukraine out, but they didn't. A lot of people mad about that. See, when you do war, Katie, first thing you go in, you take away your electricity. I bomb all your electricity. You sit in the dark. Then I'm gonna destroy your water supply. Then I'm gonna destroy your food supply. I'm gonna destroy you. So
even without involving the Ukraine, don't you think that the French is involved somehow?
I don't think the French is involved in. They could be. They got spies everywhere. Everybody, the Europeans, unlike the Africans, are wicked as shit. They all got real spies everywhere to make sure they project their power and can be touched. So I'm not saying it can't, because France has a good spy agency. America, the CIA, the British MI6, France. I forgot what France's intelligence agency is called, but they're pretty good. So it could be them too. I wouldn't put it past them. I'm sure they got people in Russia. I'm sure they got spies and double agents in Russia. So yeah, I just don't got full knowledge of what's happening.
Yeah,
but
this time we don't know anything. We're just assuming. We're just trying to guess. But I guess soon that the information will be out and we will be able to know.
Yeah, we're just speculating. But I know Putin is not. I know people in Russia. Some people do want to overthrow Putin. They don't feel like he's what they want. They want them to go and wipe out the Ukrainians, and he could have did it, but he didn't. He's been taking his time. He didn't cut off the power. He didn't cut off people's water. He didn't cut the food. So he wasn't trying to hurt nobody. He was trying to say, hey, these Americans are building bioweapons up in here. Can't talk about that. These Americans are building bioweapons. 19, we'll say what that is. These Americans are building bioweapons up in this bitch. And it's specifically made, and we know this is a fact, specifically made to kill Russians.
Sure.
So we can't allow this shit on our borders. So that's why he went in. So he came out, oh, Russia invaded Ukraine. All the fake
Somebody
propaganda.
on TikTok is saying, where is that man speaking from? We can't see him.
I'm speaking from heaven. I am the Lord, nigga. I'm in heaven. I'm speaking down. I'm speaking into your brain. I'm speaking into your brain.
I did give you the
Hallelujah, nigga. Hallelujah, nigga. I'm here.
Well, anyway, family, we're coming to the end of our show for today. I don't know what happened to my YouTube people. I see a lot of them. Nobody is active. But please make sure you don't leave without smashing the like button. Tafadhali, I have seen a lot of you in the building and I'm expecting to see those likes. So please don't leave without smashing the like button. But kwaherini, enjoy the rest part of your day. I hope you enjoyed our show for today and much love.
Let me see your transportation money, Kay. Let me get up. And hallelujah, niggas. The Lord has come. You now in the presence of the Lord.
Get out of here.
You're rebuking me, Katie. You're rebuking the Lord.
The Lord can go to hell.
I created it. I created hell, you no good bastard.
Sai kama glass tunagonganisha, sai kama waka tunafuatanisha, sai kama msuka tunapagawisha, sai kama ni mbosi bai, kama na seti ni ngwai, kwanza baadaye sidai.